All right. Hello. I'm Kenrick, and we're going to bring Ricky on here. We'll have a little chat today. And hi, Ricky. How are you?
Good, Kenrick. Hope you are.
Absolutely.
Good.
Let's have a little talk about emotions.
Mm, good
But
topic.
before we do, let me just say we have a belief shifting class starting tonight. And there's a little blurb on it there on the screen. If you're interested in joining us for that, click it, and you too can be a part of it. What is belief shifting? Well, let me tell you something. It's the missing ingredient that I think most salespeople, but really it can be used anywhere. It doesn't have to be just used in sales,
Yeah.
but certainly most salespeople miss. Um, we're also interested in what we're going to say. How are we going to say it? Where are we going to say it?
hmm
And we miss the very thing that would enable us to refocus the entire conversation. If you think of frames that we're looking through, frames, right? Where is it aiming? If it's aiming wrong, it doesn't matter how great your message is, it's still going to go wrong.
hmm
Learning to shift that to what's really right, that that makes all the difference in the world. Um, we have a 4 week sprint on that starting tonight, and so click away and join us if you can. All right, Ricky, I want to talk about emotions today.
Yeah.
Here's another secret thing, in a way. It's not so secret,
Mm-mm.
but just nobody does it. And for similar reasons, which is why I think it's so important to talk about emotions.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the structure of emotion to begin with. So, for any of you out there who have ever done any kind of drug or alcohol, uh, that's a horrible thing to bring up, but if we have somebody that has, imbibed in alcohol too much, and have done it for too long a period of time, why? Why are we doing it? Well, we're chasing the good feeling that we started off with. So, first time that I ever had a drink, Ricky, I was going to Canada. I was
hmm
18 years old. I was too young to drink in the US, but in Canada, that was a legal drinking age.
yeah.
So, a buddy of mine and I went into a bar, and he said, "Hey, you have to order a beer. Like that's just what you do. So it doesn't matter if you don't want to drink it." I said,
hmm
"Okay." So we ordered it, and I'm thinking I'm cool. He orders Canadian High Test, so it's
mm
like extra alcohol, extra high.
mm
And well, I got a problem. I'll tell it to you. I still do. If I see something in front of me to drink, I drink it. So I have
Yeah.
water in front of me all the time, and I drink it.
hmm
And if you put something else there, I drink it too. Therefore, I don't put anything else there. I
Yeah.
drink water.
Simple as that, isn't
It
it?
is, like I work with my problem, right?
hmm
Well,
Yeah.
that
Well.
beer kept sitting there, and so finally I thought, well, I'll taste it. And so I did, and I thought, that's just horrible. Whatever the hell that stuff is, why does anybody drink it? Well,
But you
but
knew
it's
it was
still,
supposed to taste good, right? I
yeah,
mean,
I
you
thought it was
still
supposed
had
to
to
taste
pretend you
good,
had to like it. Yeah.
right? Yeah, And so I thought to myself, well, when it's still sitting there, all right, so I take another little sip of it. It didn't taste quite as bad that time. And I thought, well, maybe it just kind of grows on you. Well, yeah, the alcohol grows on you,
Not the taste.
not the taste. So after a little while, it's still sitting there. So take a little more, a little more. Pretty soon it's gone. The waitress comes back. She goes, another. And my friend says, yes. I'm like, why do you do that? Like anyway, after about three of them, I'm blasted. And so we met some people there, and they go, "Hey, why don't you come back to our place and we'll play guitar?" And I said, "Okay, stupid me." So
Mhm.
we go back, and I'm playing guitar. Well, my buddy told them that I'd never drank before. So out comes more beers, and they keep putting them in front of me, and I keep drinking them. Well, we had a great time playing guitar. I mean, I had a great time. I'm playing and singing, and I mean, it was just a wonderful time until I tried to get back to the car. I couldn't even walk to the car. I mean, I'm falling down, and and my buddy goes, "I'll drive." He said, "Don't worry, I haven't been drinking that much."
Yeah.
That much. It didn't take that much, and I can't even walk. And so he's driving down the road towards the youth hostel that we're staying in. And he says to me, and I'm like, "Slow down, dude. You're going to get a ticket." He said, "Look at the speedometer." He was doing like 20 miles an hour and like a 60 mile an hour. So I said, "Well, speed up. We're going to get a ticket." Anyway, we finally get there. The gate's locked. We have to walk about 1 kilometer to get in there. And I'm falling down. I can't even get in. I get in my sleeping bag. I go to bed. Next thing you know, somebody's pushing me like this. And they go, blah, 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 speaking French. And I said, "What?" And then I realized I'd been throwing up in my sleep. I threw up all over my sleeping bag. I was throwing up all over the guy next to me. I didn't even know it. So I got up, picked up my stuff, walked 1 kilometer back, sat in the car, and threw up for the next 6 hours until he drug his sorry behind to the car. All right, so what does this have to do with anything? Well, when I turned 21, I love going to listen to music. Live music is just a favorite of mine, especially blues and that kind of thing. So I'd go listen to live bands. Well, the waitress would come over and go, "Would you like a drink?" Well, I swore to God I would never take another taste of beer. To this day, I haven't. I got so sick that I couldn't drink it ever again. But hard liquor? Oh, well, I could do that. Well, I did. I started having a couple of drinks. A couple of Long Island iced teas go a long ways towards, changing one's mood. Well, that's the problem, is you keep chasing it, don't you? Keep chasing it. How does it relate to persuasion? Well, our buyers want to be affected. They want to feel something. We as humans are designed to chase that sense of excitement, of emotional arousal. Have you ever seen people that just want to fight?
Yeah, especially the more alcohol people get, sometimes the higher that goes up with it. So
Right. And why? They're chasing that emotional high. Now, me, I never liked fighting. I like dancing, or I like, listening to great music and then going home and trying to see how bad I was on the guitar and try to do it myself, But the thing of it is we chase that. Now, drug addicts do the same thing.
All the time.
They get an initial high and then they chase it and chase it and chase it, and they don't get it again. That's just it. Maybe they get it once or twice. And then they chase and chase and chase, and it becomes an addictive habit. That addictive habit, Ricky, everybody has. It's just not called alcoholism or drug addiction, but it's looking for something fun. Some people chase, high speed, what do you call it? Not go-karts, but
any kind of adrenaline rush.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So they go to these big parks and ride the rides, and they're getting adrenaline rush. I did that and threw up. I don't like that so well. Roller coaster.
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to say. But see, knowing this about people in general, we can structure this in our selling. But to do it, we have to understand something. And here's what drug addicts miss. Are you ready? They miss the fact that you don't get to get that high and keep it. It doesn't work that way. That's not how our physiology responds. What happens is we're down here at a normal level living our life. Something happens. Like where I live, water came and we found out about it this morning. And I was like, yeah. Now, it might not mean anything to you, but it's this hot season here, water evaporates and it just doesn't come. So here's what happens. You're going along normal, and then one of my employees comes in and says, hey, water came last night. And my emotions go like this. They go high. I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm
Yep.
thinking about it. And a few minutes later, it goes back down to normal. Now, let's think about sex for a minute. I think everybody likes to think about that. So the last time you had it, assuming it was good, you started it off and you were probably somewhere down here, normal thinking, normal level, and you go, I think I'd like to do something. You poke the wife and she says, okay. And, and here comes up the emotion. How long does it stay there? Well, in my case, half hour, an hour. No. No, it stays there for,
Yeah, a good while. Yeah.
We won't say how many minutes or seconds, but and then it goes back down, so to speak. So we all laugh about that and think it's funny, but that's the way emotions are. That's the way they work. Yep. When we talk to people, look at what just happened. We're talking along, I made a little joke, and the joke is crescendos. It's kind of funny, and then it goes down. That's how emotions go all the time, just like sex, just like drugs, just like alcohol. They go up and then they go down. Problem with drugs and alcohol, they never get back up very high, and it takes 10 times the amount, and you're spending 100 times the money, which you probably don't have. So it's a really negative deal. But in selling, it's a really positive thing. But here's what people do. Let me tell you the mistake, Ricky. They figure out how to get the emotion up a little bit. They talk to someone about something they like, right? And the person's interested. They're excited. And now they get up here and they're excited. And then the salesperson launches into a logical pitch. Uh-oh.
Crash.
This excitement, that's it. Crashes. It's over. And now the person's analyzing. Well, yes, but will it do this? Will it bring me breakfast in bed? Will it shake my hand? What else won't it do?
Yeah.
I remember a guy many years ago in a class with Richard Bandler supervising, and a guy said, you Mr. Bandler, you're referencing this technique, and I'm curious, will a 6-step reframe also cure phobias? And Bandler goes, well, not really. He said, okay. Will it cure depression? And Bandler goes, well, probably not. Might help. Guy goes, okay. Will it make me more positive? And Richard goes, well, that depends. It might. The guy goes, well, what else won't it do? Bandler goes, well, it won't fry you an egg.
Exactly.
Here's the thing, though. When it comes to emotion, and notice again, I'm doing it over and over. We're here. I'll take it to here, and it'll naturally come back down. Where are we now? We're down here somewhere, right? Yeah. That's because you can't hold an emotion up here. But let's say you got real good at eliciting the leverage that we teach in dream state selling. This is different, isn't it, Ricky? It's different than just getting excited to be excited.
Yeah, right? And I'm so much better now, than I was even a month ago at getting the leverage and getting them higher and keeping them there, right? Because as you were just mentioning, I used to get them there, but then, getting into, how what we do is going to allow them to have what they want. Sometimes I would drag it out a little bit long, and I seen the emotion go shoo.
That's the tricky part right there. That's right. That's exactly right.
Yep, and that's a fine art to kind of get nailed down, but it's getting quite a bit better. And it's.
So how do we get better at that art? Well, first of all, we realize that emotions go like this. You can't get an emotion and keep it here. Try it. So imagine a great emotional state you've had. I don't care what it is. Remember a time you had sex. Yeah. Make it real high and just hold it there for 2 days.
Yeah.
It ain't going to happen. Remember a time when your wife or your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, whatever, they said, you're just the most incredible person in the world. And you're like, Oh, wow, that feels good. Go ahead, hold it. Tell me about it tomorrow if you still got it. Now
Mm,
you can go like this. You can get it you back up again, so to
yeah.
speak,
Yeah.
but it's going to come back down. It's going to keep going roller coaster like this.
Yeah.
That's because that's what emotions do. If salespeople understood that, and hopefully those of you that are listening now will start to understand, you'll realize that all of what you do does that. What typically do salespeople do when they begin? Hey, Ricky, how are you? Where in the world are you?
Yeah. North Carolina. Where are you?
North Carolina. Well, it's been a long time since I've been there. Yeah, I've been to every state at least once. You know that?
Mm, okay.
Anyway, I'm gonna be coming back. Yeah, it's like it's like
Man.
blah 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 blah, right? Who's asking? Someone's asking, wouldn't fractionalization is what they mean to be asking, be useful in this case? No, not really, because we're trying to get the emotion to control it. So if we get the leverage, right, which is what we're talking about, if we can get that leverage up, and again, I was saying, like, what salespeople usually do, they start off with BS, and so they can get a little bit of leverage, but then try to hold it. You can't. The minute you switch to your presentation, it lets the air out of the balloon. It's all gone. How many times have you seen that? How many times have you started a presentation, you kind of get on the same footing with them and like you feel like you got some rapport, and then blam, you start the presentation and down it comes. Well, there's an answer to that. And the answer is dream state selling. That's the whole answer. But the part of that answer is getting the leverage. Once you get that leverage, all of a sudden, here you are up here. And from there, they're willing to go there because it's about them. It's about their beliefs, their values, their roles, or their identities. It's about them. Here they are, really in their own world, experiencing what they would like your product, your service to be doing for them. What a different world that is.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is attached, we can go back there and get it anytime we want. No, we can't hold an emotion there indefinitely. We're going to have to let it go like this. But with just a few words, we can bring it back, and it'll go back down, and then we'll bring it back. I know women would like to pay me to learn that technique.
And if anybody watching this has not experienced the dream state selling process, send Kenrick or I a message, and we will, put you through a little bit of a questionnaire, and then assuming everything pops out on that, we would be more than happy to demonstrate the full process, like on a call, so you can actually experience it for yourself.
Let me talk real quick about the question, wouldn't fractionalization be useful? Fractionalization, well, depending on how you mean the word, but I like the word bifurcation, where we're making a choice where either choice they choose goes in the direction we want. That is very helpful. Or even if they choose wrong, we can still bend it around to get back to where we want to go. So fractionalization, I believe you're probably coming from a hypnosis background, and you're talking about going down into a trance, bringing them back, going down even deeper, bringing them back. And no, you can't do that in a sales presentation for the most part. I mean, it's like what I always say is you can't tell someone, sit down, go into a trance, and let me tell you all the reasons why you're going to hand me your credit card in just a few minutes and buy what I'm suggesting. You can't do that. You can get away with it as a therapist, although not the credit card part. But if they've given you the credit card, you can get away with sit down, close your eyes, go into a trance, and I'm going to help you think differently about the issues that you have, because that's the deal. That's what you're there to do. But in a sales situation, it doesn't quite work like that. So no, it won't really work. That's not a technique that's going to be real useful for you, because where are we putting them? Where are we fractionating them to? We're fractionating them to trance. Where else are we going to take them? Now you could say, well, maybe you could take them up into this high experience. And you can. Let me tell you how comics do it. They'll set up an anchor to a response. So they'll make a joke and they'll go, ha, 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 ha. And then pretty soon all they have to do is go, ha, 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 and the audience will crack up. But it's not a very strong, necessarily, it's not a very strong response. And, are you going to have enough time in a sales presentation to set up all these responses to anchors? And then, so you finally go, ha, 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 ha. And the person goes, oh, I'd like to buy. It doesn't translate. Nice try. I think it's really smart. What you're talking about doesn't translate real well. Okay. If you think just this today, if you think about human nature goes up and down, human nature is going along normal, and something comes up and stimulates us, and then we come back down to a normal state. Your sales presentations do the same thing. You can get someone into a higher state, but they're going to go lower. Any kind of logical presentation is going to take things lower. Anything that you're doing with emotion can bring them up. If you're bringing them up into their leverage points, wow. Now it's bridging the gap. Why? It's bridging it because it's about what they want that your product or service does. You're starting to see the light. All right. Well, we've come and talked long enough. I hope this is pointing you in the right direction of how to do this. If you are getting up someone's emotion and then launching into a long logical presentation, forget it. You're going to have lots and lots and lots of objections. You're going to be jumping up and down like a one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest, trying to always handle objections. If you're always handling objections, you're selling wrong. Or you're selling to the wrong people.
Yeah, and a visualization that I have in my brain, Kenner, because as I look at their leverage point in my brain, I kind of look at it as like a hot air balloon, right? So they're up, and then all we're doing is connecting the pieces of our offer that, and get them to see how this part can get them that thing. Yeah, you see how this part can get that thing.
Yes.
Right? So it's not bringing it down to see it. No, you keep them there, then you attach, and then it goes further, and then you get to sell.
Absolutely. And yeah, you're just spot on. And, and there's so much more. But if we start with the idea that human nature goes up and down, then we get to understanding why our logical nonsense doesn't work.
Bingo.
Then we get to understanding what else we can do instead, elicit emotional leverage. Yep. Then we get to understanding that emotion is what sells, logic is what justifies what they've just done. Yeah. And you don't even have to use real logic. You can use pseudo logic, and that works just as well. Logic doesn't enter the picture to be real.
Right.
It's emotion. All right, we'll leave you with those thoughts, and hopefully this gives you some light in the right direction, pointing a spotlight, and at least help you not to run into the rocks as much. All right, Ricky, we'll talk to you all real soon. Maybe do we have the thing that we're going to do tonight? Belief shifting. Yeah, there we go. So the belief frame shifting is another of these elements that is so powerful, so incredible. If you sell, you don't even have to sell. If you deal with people a lot, if you're negotiating, selling, whatever, if you're a coach, whatever you're doing in life, that where you're working a lot with people, you want to be in this belief frame shifting sprint. It's 4 weeks, and I'm telling you, it is it'll change the way you look at selling from here on out. It'll change the way you look at dealing with people, even your spouse. All right, with that, thanks for being here, Ricky, and thanks to all of you for coming and listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.